Well, it's Thursday night and you're here at YouTube, so that must mean it's time for Mobile Music Thursday. And this week, I'm really excited about my guest. I'm Jason Jones and I'm in disguise tonight. Can you tell why? I'm not wearing a hat. I know. So it's true, I am not bald. I just like wearing hats. So now that we've got that elephant out of the way so that we can actually focus and talk about music, let me tell you about my really awesome guest that I have on the show tonight. This guy is incredible. He goes by the name of Daryl Scott, and he's out of Detroit. He's been in the DJ business for over 20 years. He's got a company called Memory Maker DJs, and he's got about 5 DJs that go out every weekend, but he's one of those. So make that 6. So he's out there. He's setting up the music libraries, making sure all of his talent has all the music they need, and also paying attention on what's charts and what's filling the dance floor and what's working and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about. So get your notebooks or get your playlists or get your laptops out and let's have some fun talking with Daryl Scott about what he plays here in the Midwest for Mobile Music Thursday. Daryl, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. It's really terrific. I got to tell you, one of the bonuses, we met and got acquainted through the Entertainment Experience workshop that you had done. And one of the real bonuses of this show is that I'm like, oh, I'm going to reconnect with Daryl. This will be terrific. You know, it's giving me a great reason to pick up the phone and get a hold of everybody. And then, of course, find out all the secret songs you've been playing so I can be a better DJ. But no one will see this video, I promise.
It's just between us then.
It's just between us. Okay.
Right. And YouTube. Good.
Right. And just whatever that is.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm not really tech savvy. So anyway, so you've been out. You've been having a strong start to your wedding season. Yes.
Yeah. Things are going really well. We're we're out of a suburb of Detroit, and so the wedding season is just really full blown now. We're just knocking them down. Every Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Well, and interesting about Detroit, would you say Detroit's kind of just the city in general is kind of in a big recovery mode since all the drama around the car makers there and things like that? Finally?
It's definitely it's so funny being in the area. We don't realize, how great it is down there. It's just beautiful. There's so much, there's activities to do. There's so much going on, but you forget about it because you're 20 minutes down the freeway.
Right.
I mean,
right.
You can definitely see that things are improving, and it's just great to be a part of, the building of it back up.
Yeah, that is really awesome. During the time now, it's been said that wedding business is pretty much recession proof because no matter what economically might be happening, that the people still keep getting married. Did you experience that through the big downturn there in Detroit?
Yeah, what was the first stuff to go off the table was anything that was extra. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Any of the upsells that you would do, or people wanted to create the. In Detroit, we do 6-hour receptions. In Michigan, we do the 6-hour reception. So a lot of people are looking for the 4-hour reception all of a sudden.
Oh wow!
But to be honest with you, we're seeing it go the other way. We're seeing everybody wanting the add-ons, the uplights, the ceremony, the audio edits. A lot of people are, and that's how we know that the economy is getting better.
Right.
We're basically here, and if we're doing good, then the rest of the country should be ahead of us already.
Right, exactly. Just in case you hear my dog barking in the background, he's tired of being in the kennel from being outside, so he may be chiming in during the show a little bit.
Absolutely.
He's not swearing, I promise. Well, that's really, really great to hear, and I'm really glad that things are picking up. It's like, we in this business we deal enough with price objections and finding ways finding those things that our clients really value to put a premium price on to be able to get the most out of each booking.
Right. No, exactly. And that's the difference of what we can offer now too, as opposed to what we were offering when the economy started going downhill. We're giving our clients a better value, and we're offering more, to them at the same time.
Right.
So,
more value for them to take advantage of.
Absolutely.
That's what keeps you. That and a great reputation keeps you busy. Well, let's talk about music, shall we? This is a music show. Now that we've established you're awesome,
I am great, so let's go forward
So
now.
let's move forward. Yes,
Yes.
credibility has been established. So let's talk about. I always like to start the show with like the newer music, and I maybe it sounds kind of repetitious on each show, but I like to try to get a barometer from a variety of DJs of songs that have really hung out on the charts for a really long time, and so looking at particularly downloads now, the Ariana with her problems, which
Right.
I can't. I'll just say I can't stand the song, and I
Right.
can't stand the way she sings. Probably because I know her from Nickelodeon because I have a kid.
Yeah. And our kids are about the same age, so I'm glad you said that before I did. Uh, but yeah, and really, she was before I really paid any attention to her. Um, she was on the Tonight Show,
On the Tonight
and
Show. You mean regarding her role as Sam and Cat in Sam and Cat?
yeah, no, she was just doing a couple skits and singing a couple songs,
Oh wow.
and it really blew me away because I know her from Nickelodeon. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know she had an album out until until they showed the album cover. After they were doing some stuff, she was doing some stuff like postmodern jukebox remakes
Yeah.
of songs with
Okay.
with the guys from the Tonight Show, and I was really blown away. So
Oh wow. You were impressed then.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's redemption, redeeming hope for Ariana. Well, her
Yes.
song "Problems" has been like for in the top 10 downloads. I might have just finally it might have finally dropped out of the top 10,
Yeah.
which it's following downloads is really volatile. I like it and I hate it at the same time because it's like something can well the songs from The Voice shoot up into the top 10. Well, you know that the day after tomorrow they're going to be gone. You know, they
Right.
just had a surge after that episode. So really trying to use it as a good barometer. So it really doesn't matter how long particular songs hang out. And her song hung out in the top 10 for like, oh, good grief. In downloads that just has to have to keep happening. It was several months there in the spring leading into the summer, just now starting to kind of phase down out of the top 10. But the DJs I'm talking to aren't really getting requests for it and aren't really adding it to their mixes. There's like really no demand for it at our wedding dances.
Right. I haven't received any request for it, and it might just be one of those tracks that we follow. Just waiting for that. Itching to play it. Some DJs might really want to be, you know, cutting the edge and breaking new songs at weddings. But for me, unless they're really really requesting it, and I mean really I mean by one request, I haven't got one yet. So I'm aware of the song. I've got both versions
Mm-hmm.
with and without Iggy rapping. So
Sure.
um, as of right now, we're just really not playing it.
Well, there's a good transition. What about Iggy? Fancy. The song's actually kind of growing on me, and
Yeah,
my
me
wife
too.
loves it.
Yeah.
But is that one that you've like kind of thrown in to see how they react, or has there been some demand for it?
Yeah, at the very beginning of the season, like around April and March, I wasn't really playing it at all. And
Mm-hmm.
in the last about 5 or 6 weddings, it seems to be like one of the hottest requested songs. And um, 2 weeks ago, we were doing a tent wedding. It was a beautiful wedding out in a tent, and the bridesmaid wanted to sing along, and
On
of
the
course,
mic.
yeah, and of course we don't give anybody our microphones. We know we've all been there, we all seen it, but for some reason I just let her have it, and then the bride and then all the bridesmaids got behind my DJ equipment and were singing the song, and that's when it hit me. I might be onto something here because when has a song moved your whole crowd and especially your bride and the
Right.
bridal party?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
they were loving it. It just really blew me away. And at the end of each wedding night, I talked to most of the DJs and see how their event
Mm-hmm.
went. And I brought it up to a couple of them, and they were like, really, they wanted to try it just because it's such a hot song.
Yeah.
And to get a reaction from the bride and her bridesmaids, it just kind of brought me back to like all the Gwen Stefani songs from the
Mm-hmm.
2000s, and that kind of stuff. So it worked really well. So
Right.
I'm gonna keep it in the top 10. Definitely.
Yeah, and there isn't really a lot to edit out of it, or as far as like just making it something playable for weddings, because
Right.
that's what's unique about weddings is that it's one of the things I love about the prime cuts is getting the cleanest versions.
Absolutely.
So I worry not because when it's really loud and somebody drops an F bomb, it's like ooh,
Oh yeah. Did he
and
just
then
say that? Yeah,
right, it's
absolutely.
like what was that? Try not to react. Try not to react.
Oh no, absolutely.
So, or any kind of bomb at all. It's just like, this is just not cool. So I love being able to, with confidence, throw it on, knowing I don't have to preview everything and going, well, I don't
Right.
know. So,
Right.
what about like now a song that was really strong in the spring that's coming, that has been carrying on in the summer? A lot of guys that I've been talking to on the show are giving it a lot of play, a lot of demand for it, and that's Katy Perry's Dark Horse.
Yeah. Um I don't play the the 69 beats per minute version. I'll play the club version.
Oh, okay. Where's the club mix? Do you know, off the top of your head, where the club mix is from, or is that like a Benny Benassi or a Tiesto remix or?
Yeah, it's similar. It's more of a dubstep
Oh, okay.
remix.
Well, sure. I guess that would make sense with the kind of downbeat rhythm of
Absolutely,
the song.
and that's killing it. That's doing really well. I always get really nervous playing any down tempo or anything really slow. Um, but for every great song, there's a great remix, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't really play too many remixes at weddings because people want to hear the original. But there's a couple songs that I can get away from playing the original, and one of my guys has the absolute opposite spin on it. He doesn't like the club mix. He likes that version that everybody knows, just because everybody knows it.
Well, I suppose it's how you set it up too. I mean,
Absolutely.
I get what you're saying about like when I had Mike Walter on the show. If you know Mike Walter out
Oh
in
yeah.
New Jersey, and Mike was saying like, I don't like playing anything under 120 beats per minute. And I
Right.
was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff you cut out, which
Right.
I'm sure I'm guessing songs like Thrift Shop would, just because they're such a strong popular hook, that would make but maybe I don't know, maybe there's a Thrift Shop remix that's 120
Right.
or what have you. Do you kind of follow the same philosophy?
Yeah, I'm kind of with, you know, I don't go the 125 and up, or I'm not going to play it, but I like to at least keep it around 115 or something, or you know, and if and I really don't play a lot of remixes at weddings. Obviously, people don't know the remix; they're not
Right.
going to know the song as
Mm-hmm.
well. But at the same time, there are a few songs that I like to, sandwich in a dance set, that they hear it and realize, oh, that's the song I really like, because
Mm-hmm.
we've been rocking out with Selfie and all the other songs for a little bit, or
Sure.
playing some of the EDM or the current stuff,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how much new stuff you're playing, you still have to play the twist and,
Oh, absolutely. You've
you
got,
know,
I mean, talking to Jim Cerrone, he talks about doing the music sandwich, a really well known song,
yep,
and then a newer song that we may or may not, it could go huge, it could go
yep,
flat, it's a little unpredictable,
absolutely.
and then follow that with another really, really well known song kind of thing. The
Oh,
new
no,
song
absolutely.
sandwich. That's, I guess, Jim coined that, the new song sandwich.
I'll send him a check. We'll send him a check.
I use the new song sandwich. Jim
And no,
Cerrone.
and it makes sense though because especially explaining it to other people, especially some of my younger staff or my least experienced staff,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great way to segue it into what do you do now? And I use the term, is it an A song, and then mix it in with the B song,
Right.
and if you got a really good crowd, try the C song. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right. Yeah, that's great advice. Between that and burn your hooks, the best advice I ever got, and I think it could have been from Bill Herman, though I hate to admit the advice that I get from Bill Herman, but is to burn your hook songs, burn them, because if you don't have them like totally in, this DJ is awesome, I'm gonna like whatever he plays, you're gonna struggle all night.
yeah,
So it's like burn them early. So everybody's like, oh, one good song after another. So then if you're playing a few more B songs later in the night, so what? They don't care. They're like, woo, we're into it.
right,
Disco
right.
Duck, my favorite.
No, little Rick D's for you. Awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. There's a couple songs that we're starting to play that I really, really like. Some of the newer songs, kind of a summer vibe.
Yeah.
One of them's called Summer Jam.
Oh, I don't think I played that one yet.
Yeah, and
Making notes.
yeah, it's got a really good club beat to it. It's just a fun, and it's a good summer vibe. I think it's by DJ Eugene.
Is this like an
Um,
EDM type electronic?
yeah, it's no, it's more like top 40 dance.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
So I don't think
um,
I tried to listen to the radio too. Well, I'm feeling really out of the know now.
yeah, yeah. There's just a couple songs that are really, they make me, um, when you hear a new song or when you find a new song and
Mm-hmm.
you're able to add it in,
Yeah, and you dig it, and they dig it, and you're like, yeah,
yeah, it feels like like you're a DJ and you're accomplishing something other than,
right.
playing the top 200 list and just checking off the songs that you play. Um, but yeah, the Summer Jam song, I'm just loving that. And then there's one other song. It's called "Skip to the Good Beat,"
Oh, to the good beat.
and it's a it. I think it's a sample of "Unbelievable" from the '90s,
Oh, fun.
and just really good fun. And the crowd, like, I use it as a segue into some of the '90s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got such a great beat, and the hook of the song. I'm singing it when I'm driving. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
awesome.
So I hope everybody checks out that song as well as the Summer Jam.
What was the
Um,
name of that one?
it's called "Skip to the Good Beat."
Skip to the good beat. And is that what you play when somebody says, play something I can dance to?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's still because they're so new. I'm still playing them after selfie. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
I'm still playing them after whatever other popular song that's out. Or we're in Detroit, so we're kind of like known for the EDM and the
Mm-hmm.
the techno or the house and stuff
Yeah.
like
So,
that.
so do you have a fan base for that kind of stuff? Do you have a crowd that's expecting that to be part of the mix because of its regional popularity?
Yeah, there's a little of that. It's and especially if they hear something, on the mix shows at night on the radio stations or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, or if they're in the club, they're really aggressive here, as far as music. And sometimes people that go to the clubs, a lot more than because we're working Fridays and Saturdays. But
Right.
a patron who's going to the bar to hear that music, they might even be up on a song or two that we don't know. And at a wedding, they're asking, and I'm like,
Never.
okay, yeah, I
That
don't even
never
know
happens.
what you're talking about, lady. That kind of thing.
Right, right. Look,
But
I'm a DJ here. I would know if it was a good song,
yeah,
right?
I'm the DJ, lady, and that's where
Here's
a
my
couple
card.
songs come into. Now all of a sudden, because I look like an idiot because I didn't know what the song was, so now I got it. Now I'm like, what a great song. I should have known about this song 2 months ago.
Right. I have to say, like for years and years, for 7 years, I over 7 years, I had a bar gig that I did every week, and one of the my favorite things about doing the bar gig was that I did all most of my music research there, because I'd
Right,
be playing what I knew worked and what I knew people liked, but there'd always be people that come like, oh hey, can you play this song? And I'd be like, sure. Because it wasn't a nightclub, it was more just a party bar, right? So I just had to
right.
keep it going. So I'd be like, oh, because I'd pull it out, listen to it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of hooky. That sounds kind of good. I never heard
Oh,
of the song.
absolutely.
I'd put it on. I look around the room. Oh, they're kind of digging it. All right, adding to the playlist to try out with a dancey crowd and see where that goes. If they were dancing by their tables or what have you, So it was like I'd get a song and then I could actually do a I don't know what you call a market test or
Right,
like a little survey. Like, how does this
right.
go?
No, it's funny when sometimes when you play a song, it happens to me a lot with the country music, um, because we're in Detroit, the Motor City. Of course, country music is big here. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. They just love it here. You know what I mean? I'm not a
Wow.
big fan of the country, even though I do appreciate a really good song,
Yeah.
and that happens a lot. You mentioned earlier about being so so relieved when somebody requests a song. It's the same thing with like having that mobile subscription, to the Prime
Yes.
Cuts, and people
Yeah.
ask for a song and you type it in and you got it and
Right.
you play it and everybody in the room knows the song. This has happened to me a couple times this year already, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing just this really great country song that I had no clue about.
Yeah, that was
And
so crazy.
I'm the only person in the room who doesn't know how great of a song it is, and I'm the DJ. But I'm playing it off like I've known the whole
Oh
time.
yeah.
Like, oh, I play
Right.
this
Yeah.
never, but no.
Exactly. All the time in my sleep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Would you remember what that song is?
Um,
Put you on the
hmm.
spot.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of them. Oh, you know what it was? It was a Reba McEntire song,
A Reba song.
which was an older song. There's a couple of that at this particular event. Um, it was a Reba McEntire song. It was an older song, and I've never ever played it. I've had it for years, and of course I'm not going to remember it, but I want to say I got Fancy. I think it's Fancy in my head. I don't know.
Fancy. Reba McEntire does have a song named Fancy. Iggy is not in it, but she does.
Yeah, and
Really?
I
Wow.
think that the crowd went wild when I played it, and
Hmm.
just like,
That's must be like an inside thing with them or something with that particular group. Have you found that
yeah,
at other
I've
groups?
no, I've never ever played it, and when I played it, like the whole room sang every song to it.
What an odd country oldie. Because I mean, that's an oldie now. I mean,
Yeah,
that song. I think I remember when I played that, and when I was in radio in the early '90s is when
yeah,
that was starting to chart and be really popular at that time.
wow, yeah. And then some of the newer country artists, um,
Brad Paisley.
yeah, and the Gilbert Brantley or Brantley Gilbert or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and the Luke Bryan, that stuff. I mean, that's just really big. Which is it's funny because there's some of the stuff is not really dancey, but it's such a great hook of a song, or it's such a great song. People just love it,
Oh, they just
and
love to go rock out to it. I mean, so much of
yeah,
the new country is really rocking. It's
it
like if
is
you want to hear rock and roll, it's almost like, when I hear progressive rock now, it sounds like the punk influence is really, really strong. So
right,
it's like, okay, and I like punky stuff. It's like that's kind of
right.
cool, but it seems like it's so much of it is punky, with exception of a few standouts, like oh no, see now I'm going to brain freeze, but Gold
Aha,
on the Ceiling and Lonely Boy, Black Keys.
yeah, yeah,
And they don't sound punky. They have like a little grunge influence and some others, so they're standout as far as kind of being kind of different. But otherwise, most like the Good Charlotte and just a lot of the pop bands, the rock pop bands, they
right.
sound really punkish. The country, on the other hand, sounds like rock with a steel guitar.
Yeah, yeah. I almost equate like the newer country to more of top 40,
Yeah.
just because the popularity that everybody is listening to country, even if, your one channel is the hip hop channel and the other channel is probably a country channel.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Where it used to be, what did it used to be? It used to be what, hip hop and rock and roll, and now it's hip hop and country, is that? Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like heavy metal and country, and now it's hip hop and country.
right. No, yeah, I think
Weird.
that's exactly it.
That's
Are
that's
you doing a lot of the folkier independent rock stuff? The Mumford and Son, and are you doing?
occasionally it goes in groups. Like small groups would be like, "Oh, we dig this song. This is our college thing or whatever," but it's not like it's not consistent. It's really inconsistent. Like for a group that doesn't have some kind of attachment to the songs,
Yeah,
I've cleared a dance floor with it and been like,
yeah.
sorry, let's play something else.
Oh no, absolutely.
Where it just doesn't, and again, they're not really dancey. I could see like now, if I'm not certain, I'll mix into a high energy part during like an Irish set.
Right,
Like if I'm
right,
playing like a Shipping Up to Boston is just about everybody loves to rock out to Shipping Up to Boston, and it's got a
right,
the live concert version has such a strong hook to it that even people that don't know it'll be like dan 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 dan,
Oh
and they'll
yeah,
just be like get like this is really like they'll feel the hook, and some
right,
songs like will hook that strong kind of thing, and that one is so if I do what I call like an Irish set, I might throw in some Mumford and Sons that would fit in genre wise, even though they're not really Irish. They kind of fit into that
right,
sound, but during the high intensity part of the song or the chorus part of the song, kind of thing.
right. I've
Otherwise it's kind of a risk unless it's on the list and we love it and we want to hear it, kind of thing. How about you? Is that something
Yeah,
that works well for you?
yeah. It's kind of a thing that it's kind of popular right now. Some of the newer songs, the Edward Sharp and the stuff like that. And we're even doing a lot of it for dinner. for the whole hour of dinner. It's just, and it's got a, obviously, like you were saying, it's not great dance floor stuff, but some of the songs are great sing-along songs. They're kind of replacing the Piano Man, and the Sweet Caroline, towards the end of the night, because the energy is okay, but it's the hook of the song that everybody likes to sing,
Right.
and rock out to. But I don't know what everybody else calls it. I kind of call it folk rock, some independent rock or whatever. But we've been doing a lot of that for the dinner hour.
Wow, really? That it seems like would seem to be a little intense for the dinner hour. I mean, I suppose at lower volumes, but
Yeah.
just on the surface, my reaction would be like, that seems a little intense,
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
like the Lumineers and the Edward Sharp and the stuff like
oh, the
that.
Lumineers. Oh, I totally can see that. Yeah, I guess I was
Yeah.
just imagining the Mumford and Son put in there, but the Lumineers, yeah.
Like the Avett Brothers and
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of folky stuff. I mean, it's kind of that's my dog in the background now. Sorry,
Hello, doggy.
apologize.
Yeah,
But
the I call that we had a station. Sadly, apparently a new programmer manager came in and decided to take out the sword and shove it through the heart of this great radio station that had been doing an awesome mix of acoustic. Well, they basically, Mark Cohen Walking in Memphis.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think they took that song and said, let's build a radio station around this song and artist.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they
Oh yeah.
built that, and they had acoustic sunrise and acoustic sunset, and they had like kind of all this kind of like really great folky stuff. They'd still
Yeah.
play some rock pop and the punkier stuff and things like that.
Right.
And but you wouldn't be hearing like any like hip hop stuff or anything like that. It was like really stuck to that, true to that vein. That's gone now, and they used to
Right.
have these samplers, acoustic samplers. So I still have what I call a Cities 97 acoustic mix for dinner music and cocktail hour and things like that, and also have an acoustic love song mix
Ooh.
where you're Jason Mraz and there's a lot of these songs, they're too fast, to be slow dance songs, but
Right.
they're too slow to be doing anything else to, but they're crazy popular in how much like people will dance to My Best Friend, because they like it, but it's not really very a danceable tempo.
Right.
But put in like during dinner, then it's like, oh, like kind of fun little love song lullabies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. Kind of like the Bobby Morgenstein, like the last one he did. That had all those kind of like Jason Mraz and Kobe Galant and stuff. Just upbeat, fun, but
Yeah.
still instrumental. It's great for the cocktail or even ceremony stuff as
Oh
well.
yeah, absolutely,
Are
absolutely.
you?
I had a gal. I did a wedding. Did the ceremony sound, and they did their recessional to Plain White Tees, "Rhythm of
Yeah.
Love," which was
Yeah.
awesome. I'd never been in the context of that situation. I'd never been so moved by that song.
No, that's amazing. That's just amazing. Are you doing any of like the Vitamin String Quartet, or are you doing the postmodern jukebox or anything like that?
I've heard about that stuff, and I have yet to get it in the collection, and just get with it. That's another note that I'll make from this conversation. So while
Good.
you said it's a
Vitamin String Quartet.
string quartet.
Just think of like um, Canon and D
Mm-hmm.
mixed in with Metallica Enter Sandman.
Oh, see, that's awesome.
Yeah, they have really good stuff. Everything from like Soundgarden. It reminds me a few years ago with Richard Cheese.
Yeah.
Doing his lounge kind of.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And then Paul Anka a few years later did his stuff. Where he's singing "Pour Some Sugar on Me" or "Eye of
Right,
the
but it
Tiger."
sounds really good. You're like, oh my, is this the same song?
No, absolutely. And my new favorite. This is so addicting. Once you go on and you research the Vitamin String Quartet, you're going to have to set a time limit because there's so much good stuff that they do. But my other guilty pleasure is the postmodern jukebox.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that several times now.
Ah,
Post
amazing.
modern jukebox. This is the great thing about not having to be the expert on this show, is that like I can just like make notes and be just as
No,
excited and
absolutely.
surprised as the rest of the people who view and watch the show.
And it's all about, what area are you from and what's hot in your area? What are you doing?
Oh yeah,
Because
oh totally, and and everybody's picking up on different things, and it can be so valuable. Just like talking out, like, well, Mike is out in New Jersey, and we're going to be talking to Scott Favor, who's down in Arizona and California, and and just kind of trying to hit. I try to hit different parts of the country every week. The Midwest, and then like the South, Southwest, or Robbie Britton's territory, and and that sort of thing to really kind of get like a pickup. Now, you had mentioned a couple of things we're running out of time of the show, and I want to get to just a few of the hook songs from a couple of different eras before we wrap up. But I have
okay,
just a couple more questions since this show has really kind of been about the newer music, which has been really really fun to do. And that's where it's gone. The Ellie Goulding's songs chart really well, really popular, get a lot of airplay, really high in the downloads, but kind of like kind of iffy as far as having enough oomph to actually move people on the dance floor, like Burn.
yeah, no, we're not getting any play with them. Just they're I equate it to be it's a great song to drive around to, but
Yeah,
not a great song to dance to or play. And if you're at you're DJing for a bride and groom or a 23, that might be a song that you can sandwich in there. But it almost or maybe we've been playing it for so long, in a club or anything like that that you're just kind of like
it's kind of burnt out with it.
kind of burnt out with it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you about an oldie, and an oldie that I'm not hearing as much at wedding dances, and it used to for I think a long time. What has kept this song alive are DJs at wedding dances, and I wonder if it's just not being played enough, and like we have a generation that's kind of like missing the song because they haven't grown up hearing it as they go to weddings, and that's Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Wow, great song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, it's
All
my
8 minutes
turn.
of it too, right?
No, no, it's my turn. I got to write down. Man, I'll tell you what, that song was just incredible. I have not played that in quite a while, to be honest with you.
I wonder if that's
Uh,
like a just kind of a forgotten gem.
yeah, I think, and you know what it is? I think we get so focused sometimes on what's new and what's out
Mm-hmm.
now. And if you're putting something in, you got to take something out mentally. I think I don't know, but I'm thinking that there's the other song that I was thinking about that you mentioned is Crocodile Rock.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
what a great song!
Yeah, no, really great song. Where would you
Tons
put
of
it?
energy. But I haven't played that in a while. So,
Where would you put
and
it? Would you put it earlier in the evening, later in the evening?
yeah, I would put it earlier in the evening. I almost I was gonna play it in the AC/DC Some Kind of Wonderful set, to be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
and then Dad came over and switched directions on us. But
Okay.
I was actually gonna drop that in the third song of that set. And I think it's important that we kind of find those songs and kind of go back, and every now and then slip them in because they're so. I mean, they were so great. They were so popular.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I mean, yeah, they're just really, really good songs. See if you can name a couple of their oldies that come to mind. And when I say oldies, I'm talking about from the 60s and 70s. I mean, 80s are considered oldies now, but they're
yeah,
still songs. I'm a believer in a really great solid dance song will always be a really great solid dance song
yeah,
that you could put in when I play the Beatles Twist and Shout, I never clear the floor with that. It's like,
no,
oh, Twist and Shout. Okay, cool. Not quite as strong as that would be like the Beatles. She's oh, I'm forgetting now. It's not She's 17. It's
I saw her standing there.
Saw Her Standing There. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, it's just the opposite for me. I saw her standing there. I get a better reaction than the twist and
Then
shout.
the Twist and Shout.
Yeah, but another one that's kind of making its way back into the playlist is Elvis, um, Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, because of the energy and it's
Mm-hmm.
Elvis, everybody knows it.
Right. They're familiar with like, oh, this is fun. Let's go with it.
Yeah, and it kind of gives me a break from playing the twist and you know um, a couple of the other 50s in the sets. But another good one is the Runaround Sue.
Yes, I've heard that from a lot, and I've dropped that from my playlist for a couple of years, and I'm going to bring it back because you're like the third person that has brought up Run Around Sue.
Yeah, and I think as DJs, the timing is when we're sensing these songs coming back in. It's almost like like you were saying about the '80s and they're oldies now. You know what I mean? And
Yep,
it's things always recycle, and I think as
exactly.
DJs, we're the front line of that. So
Absolutely.
it's important for us to go through the crate every now and then. You know what I mean? And
Right, exactly.
um,
What did I used to play? What did I
well,
play 10 years ago, especially when you've been at it 20 years, right?
no, absolutely, absolutely. That and what are you playing for your for your like '80s set, like your goofy '80s set? Like a couple years ago, it was "I Want to Dance with Somebody,"
Oh, that's still
Whitney
really
Houston.
strong.
Yeah,
Footloose, I Want to Dance with Somebody. What's it? I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett is like it's kind of a no-brainer. I'll
yeah,
pull that out. I call that my 80s power hook.
yeah,
One of the 80s power hook songs would be that one. Pour Some Sugar on Me does it. And I know a lot of guys that don't like to play You Give Love a Bad Name, but people love the song.
oh
I've
yeah,
never, I haven't experienced it where it's like, oh man, this is a wedding. You're really bringing me down playing that song. They're not, they're
right,
really, they're having the memories of whatever memories they had when that song was a hit, when they were growing up or heard it last. And it's a great, of the Bon Jovi songs, it's
yeah,
one of the ones I get the strongest response, especially if I spike the volume on the very opening where he's like, shot through the heart. And everybody's like jumping on that, like sing
yeah,
along, like right now and just
yeah.
like running out to the dance floor. So,
And I
um,
think I know why. I think I know why that is because bar DJs from years ago have kept that song going. You know what I
kept it
mean?
alive. Yeah.
Kept it alive. It's kind of like Ice Ice Baby.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like I remember I used to play Ice Ice Baby and people wanted to beat me up. And, and now those same people are requesting the
Right,
song.
right, right. It's like we got to get out and dance to this, right?
Absolutely,
So I
absolutely.
got one more song I want to ask you to, and then we gotta wrap up the show. I don't want to stop these shows. It goes way
Right?
too fast. Way too fast.
Absolutely. No,
Um,
I love it.
and this is a song that worked for me since I began DJing in like 1988, and I've been playing it, and I'm going to stop playing it because now when I pull it out and even if I sandwich it in with two other songs that I know are really hot, the response I get is the dance floor gets kind of tepid, and now most of the time someone will come up and say, "Hey, what are you playing next?" or "What's going on?" Like there's like such strong disinterest, and it's ELO, "Don't Bring Me Down."
Hmm. Great song.
Awesome song. Is that one that
Great
you ever
song.
played?
No, no. I mean, it's so funny that what are you playing with it?
Oh, geez, I don't think I can answer that question. I'm putting 80s tunes around it basically.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I'm having that same thing happen to me with old time rock and roll to the point where I'm not even playing it as much anymore because no matter where I put it in the set, it's people has have just lost interest in it.
I think old time rock and roll is begging for a killer remix. It's
Yeah,
begging for it, and it's a song that would work so well with a killer remix. I know there's been a remix done, but it's
yeah,
just like a backbeat was added to it. I mean, like a remix where they add in a beat, but keep the people know. Oh, they know this is Bob Seger. You don't
right.
lose that because remixes can totally kind of end up getting so creative they kind of bastardize the song. Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
and I think that would bring it back. I do. If I was any good
Yeah,
at any of that, I'd give it a go. But
yeah. Well, you got connections, you know people,
that's right. I should find someone. Someone remix this.
absolutely.
If you're watching the show, remix it. We'll all buy it. I'll
Absolutely.
make it
Amen. We'll put it.
make it mandatory. That's right. We'll all download it.
Okay, you guys aren't still playing the old time rock and roll, are you? You got to play the new mix of old time rock and roll. Yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
definitely. Yeah, that's that one song for me that just doesn't go anywhere anymore
Yeah.
for some reason. Are you playing it at all?
It's been off my list for a while because
Yeah.
the response, it's such a dead. I can't. It's been off my hook list for a long time. But even as a B player to kind of throw in there, it gets a really tepid response, and then I start getting the requests. I measure how successful I'm being. If I'm not getting any requests, I'm
Right.
kicking butt because
No,
they're
right.
having so much fun. They're not sitting there thinking of songs for me to play. If I'm getting a lot of requests, I'm drowning.
Yeah. No. Are you gonna play something I can dance to?
Right, right,
Oh, so you're not digging your mom's prom music. Okay, great.
right, right. If you could just give me a minute to get it together,
Yeah,
it'll be
no,
awesome.
absolutely.
I'm thinking of here.
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
this has been so much fun, Daryl. So much fun.
What a great catch up. This is awesome, and I appreciate you, doing this for all the the DJs. It's kind of just I appreciate how much you give back to the industry, and you know I feel grateful and blessed that I get to take advantage of it. So I hope everyone else does too.
Awesome. Thanks, Daryl. I really appreciate that. It was awesome having you on the show. And of course, since it was such an awesome experience, that means we have to do it again sometime.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
It's
Let's
like this
do
is what we
this.
call Mobile Music Thursday dating. When you become the reoccurring guest.
I'm gonna put you on the calendar, right?
Perfect. Explain that to your wife.
Absolutely.
Oh, thanks for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in to another week of Mobile Music Thursday. Again, any of the questions, we talked a lot about new music. If you've got new music that's really like working for you and doing surprising things on the dance floor for you that you want to share, please put it down in the comment section right here on YouTube. Also, check out some of the other shows that are right here on DJNTV. We've got a whole slate of great programming every single night of the week. You want some techie stuff? We've got Ben Stowe, and he is unbelievably techie. And then John takes him from the PhD level down to where we can understand it, and he solves your problems right there on the show. It's always informative and interesting. And then there's the whole lighting show on Wednesday. And lighting, I can't believe how lighting has changed. It used to be, do you want to bring the disco lights or not bring the disco lights? And now it's like, it's all about decor, and DJs are being designers, and DJs are taking over that whole field, which is really awesome and incredible. And brides and grooms really value it. They're willing to pay a premium for it. They are an awesome entertainer, like my guest, Daryl. So tune into the other shows here on Disc Jockey News, DJNTV, and we'll talk to you next week with another great guest right here on Mobile Music Thursday. We'll talk to you then.